Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So let's get into this. We're going to do a check in love, but I actually feel compelled to actually ask a direct question here, which is just where are they right now? What's happening with them? Whomever they are. And I don't even know who this is going to be yet, how this is going to be. Um, but whomever somebody is thinking of, this isn't exactly a specific message. It was just one of those thoughts that popped into my head, but there wasn't any more attached to it than that. So we'll just say it's going to be a check in for love, but where are they, whomever the they may be? Victoria R, Column C, wonderful to see you. Kid the Kid, hi guys. We have the Page of Cups. Okay, so where are they? Like emotionally speaking, this is somebody who is at the precipice of making some kind of a small offer, but a message nonetheless. So let's see. Nine of Swords, a small offer, but they're very nervous. And we see this person looking on the other side of the glass, the other side of the window, the other side of the screen. We could look at this in many different ways. Why are you so stressed out? What is going on here? Because I want this 10 of Cups. I want to cuddle. This, it's funny because this has such like a dark and gloomy vibe, but where they want to be is inside, cuddled up. Maybe I just heard in your bed. That's where this person wants to be. So this idea of them on the precipice of reaching out, they know why they're reaching out. They're reaching out because they want companionship. They want a 10 of Cups. Okay, but why are they worried? Why are you so stressed out about this? Nine of Wands. Because they've been through it. They've been through it more than a time or two. Let me pause for just a second. Right now, by the way, I should first mention they could be a water sign, could be a fire sign, could be an air sign. That's what we've got at the moment, but we don't have any major arcana, so that's why it could be any of those. But let me ask in a more like location or like physical plane. This is kind of like the emotional plane, but where are they in a more physical sense? Like, are they near to our character? Temperance. They're on some flat plane. It could be daytime wherever they are, or early morning. This feels like there's still snow on some neighboring mountain peaks. So it still is like a colder environment wherever they are. So probably northern hemisphere. This almost feels like a peaceful dreamer, though, waking up slowly. And it's like, it's kind of stark light outside, but they're waking up kind of slowly. This feels like first morning light. This feels like, I keep thinking like down or comforter or fluffy feather bed with white sheets. And maybe they've had some nice dream time. This, sorry, I always call it dream time because it's when I ask Aries in the morning, did you have a good sleepy time, a good dream time? Sometimes my baby vocabulary comes out in my stories. The fact that we have a King of Cups upright, okay, we're finally getting a message about who he is. And we got the Ace of Pentacles sideways. He had a very nice dream. I would definitely say that he is stepping into the shower. He is feeling like, you know what? I slept really well. I did have some kind of like, I feel like cleansing, refreshing. And here also, it's like I'm stepping into the shower now and I'm feeling like today could be the day. Today could be the day that I send the message. Maybe then again, it won't be because this is sideways, but he's thinking about it and he's kind of happy about it. But that's not how we saw him. Emotionally, we still see some fear, pretty significant fear, because look, nines are not tens. Case didn't, yeah, I know that's Kate's words of wisdom. Did you know nines aren't tens? Man, I'm dropping wisdom tonight. No, my point of that is just saying he's not completely emotionally solid, even though we see him, and we're going to say him, even if this is a feminine, please note, could be either gender, but we see him like going through his morning routine and feeling quite happy, feeling quite good about life. and thinking today could be the day that I reach out and I make this offer. And it specifically is like today could be the day that I reach out. Okay, so that's important to note. And there's a lot of energy surrounding all of this. By the way, this person could be into photography, specifically like a kind of time lapse photography, or maybe they have kind of a knack for like funky artwork or something. It's just the, you know, to make this kind of photography, you know, it's like you light oh gosh, like almost like the stuff that Brillo pads I think are made of, and just like fling them around, you know, attached to like a wire, kind of like a fire dancer style, and then take, you know, a specific, you know, shutter lens of the image, and you see the arc of the light going through. So it just feels like somebody who's got like a funky, like artistic flair or something. They are, maybe that's how their mind works. Maybe they see things in like an artistic manner. You know, they're picturing what they would do, and they're picturing like almost in slow-mo. Like I almost want to do like broken robot dance right now. So I don't know where that's coming from, but maybe this is a highly specific story. I didn't expect it to be. That's not what my intention was, but I guess we're getting bizarre little details. So if we go back over here and we say, so the emotional state is he's nervous, but he's thinking he's about ready to reach out. We see both in both energies, he's at the cusp of reaching out. Now, can we go back and take a look at the worries, the nines that are not tens? He's not totally ready. When we get a 10, that means that we've closed out a cycle. When we're still rocking nines, it means we got the finishing, like the cherry on top to complete this. So he's stressing still about sending a message emotionally and like logically, and wherever he's at. Today might be the day, but then again, maybe not. And I think it's because of this. I think it's because there's still this wounded energy. Where is this wound coming from? Or where is this fatigued warrior coming from? Okay, 6 of Swords. I don't know who hurt this person's energy, who hurt him, but this King of Cups seems like internally anyway, they haven't quite left the station. We see somebody who's like, I know it's time to move on from a hurt. I know it's time for me to let go of something, but I'm still sitting in this room, and I'm still, you know, there's like chain link over the window. I can see sunshine. By the way, once again, we see possibly a bigger city. Here we have like the same flat, like they're staying on the outskirts of a big city, possibly a city that has a river running through it. By the way, now we see a little bit more of the landscape where they may be located. But this hurt is that he needs to move on from something that he still hasn't quite stepped through the gate, stepped through the the chain link. 6 of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. So the thing that he hasn't quite stepped through yet, or I'll say like healed from or fully released himself from, seems to be, keep in mind, this is the hurt that he's got to let go of. So it had to do with an entire like group that should have felt more loyal that maybe wasn't, as well as some kind of romantic connection that maybe wasn't. I know these are upright, but I'm asking, what is it that he hasn't quite moved on from? What was the sorrow? And it was like, well, because once upon a time, I thought I had this support network. Once upon a time, I thought that I had a love in my life. And then I'm guessing that this didn't work out. Let me see what happened. The Moon. Yeah, there's some stuff that was maybe a shocker, some stuff that he didn't expect to have happen, some things he didn't know about. I know we don't have a card of betrayal, but it's like I didn't know them as well as I thought I did kind of energy. There were some things that I didn't expect. So that's, you know, of course that's painful. Of course that's a problem. So look at the 5 of Swords upright. To have the 5 of Swords, it ended badly with all of this for him. With all of it. So heartbreak for sure, even fighting, and maybe people he doesn't talk to anymore that once upon a time, he never saw it going this way. So there's bad blood. What is the song? Now we got bad blood. We used to have mad love, but now we got problems. I can't. I think it's Taylor, isn't it? So at this point, we can see why he's still just at that little, I'm watching, I'd like to put forth an offer any day now. This almost feels like he'd like to ask somebody out, plain and simple. This is new love. This is new opportunity. He'd like to ask somebody out, but he just hasn't like worked himself through that last little twinge of pain from other disappointing relationships to where he's like, if it doesn't go well, how much will that sting? I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm ready for another thing that could sting. He's just a little bit tender. He's not broken. He's just a little bit tender. But he's angling for happiness. So who is this that you want to contact? Who is this? We have got so much like as of yet unbegun stories, love stories. Like I feel like that is such a repetitious message. Now, today I did get some stories of other romances that were going well for different zodiacs, but I will say we've had some very recurring themes in the last couple of weeks of like romances that are about to begin but just haven't yet. Romances that, you know, it's like right before somebody asks somebody out and it's like it's a little bit of a surprise, or there's been like an energy flow between two people but they just hadn't like expressed it yet. There's a lot of like anticipation, and I keep thinking maybe it's because it's springtime, maybe it's because, you know, like we're in a year of a change with the serpent, right? So there's going to be changes, there's going to be new partnerships, there's going to be changing the way we used to do things. But we have this Two of Swords coming out. I said, who is the person that he wants to talk to? And it's like the person that I don't know if I should talk to. Why on earth? This could be a possibly a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, could be a divine masculine. We have a Three of Cups. He doesn't know if he should reach out to this person, but I'm trying to figure out who they are. The Fool and the Hermit. It's weird because there's a few extra messages that I see on this. Okay, first off, who the person could be is someone who tends to keep to themselves as well. This person could be a bit of a shaman. They could be a Virgo. They could be an Aries. This could be a very spiritual person. Both of these cards represent a different form of spirituality. And I would argue that this depicts more of who it is that he'd like to make this love offer to. The major arcanas are always going to trump the minor. So I'm going to assume that the person he'd like to reach out to is somebody who has a strong spiritual energy, maybe multicultural spiritual interests. Just because this is one of the Sufi dancers, and you know that to my limited knowledge, they spin because they're mimicking the movements of the planets, and it's actually a form of active meditation, the whirling dervish round and round. And so I'm picturing that this is probably somebody that he knows has a strong spiritual belief system, also very earthy with the shamanism, you know, somebody who's connected to all living things, plant life, and, you know, the earth and animals and such. But also this is a wounded healer. So there could be a reason that he's attracted to this specific person. And that brings me back around to what I was saying, where it's like, I got a couple different messages on this. If he's wondering, I'm not sure I should reach out to this person, there's something about like, I've made a little bit of an overture, and then I think they did too, but this feels a bit like a chess game. But are they picking up on my vibes spiritually? Or am I drawn to them because of their spirituality, and I'm imagining that they're interested in me? There's something here where it's like, I would just like to be around this person no matter what. That's what I feel like he's saying is this King of Cups. I mean, they're a spiritual person too, right? They're King of Cups. They're emotional. But I feel like on one hand, he's like, I don't know if I should do this. But on the other hand, at minimum, I just think we'd be friends. I think we could have great conversation. I think that this would be like enjoyable in some way. But should I reach out? Hell yes, you should reach out. Yes, you're a King of Cups. You're wonderful. You have a ton to offer. Reach out to this person, especially when you feel like at the bare minimum, the two of you could have some pretty awesome conversations. if it becomes nothing more than an intellectual bond, awesome. But obviously what he's hoping for is this. Let me ask this. Why do you feel like this individual would be your 10 of cups? Why would you already feel that pull? Six of Pentacles in the reverse. This could factor into the other reason why they're like, I'm not sure if I should reach out. They are hungry right now. They are hungry for belonging. Now, they may also be hungry for some kind of spiritual guidance. That could have been what's drawing them to this person in the first place, because the Six of Pentacles, if it had been upright, it would have been like, oh, well, I feel like they're my Six of Cups, or excuse me, my 10 of Cups, because, you know, I can tell they're really giving and I want to give something in return to them. Not here. Right now, they need something. And this card has much more to do with spirituality, this in this case, like Buddhism, than it has to do with monetary things. This is a character on a spiritual quest for fulfillment, but they also, you know, this is where like that old argument of the Greek philosophers comes and crashes in. And the argument is, are we creatures that are like mortal earthbound creatures having a spiritual experience, or are we spiritual creatures having a tangible physical experience? And I just have always thought we must be somewhere in between the two, you know, the tangible and the intangible. But I almost feel like this is the core of this storyline, is that we have an emotional and possibly like more spiritual King of Cups who has known some pretty significant disappointments, possibly because he felt like he had strong spiritual connections or emotional bonds to people that turned out like, wow, I didn't know them as well as I thought I did. But then he still can feel a spiritual bond, or I'll say an emotional bond, to this person who seemingly is kind of on the outskirts of his life. And he'd like to explore that, almost because on one hand, I think that he is a bit of an explorer, but on the other hand, he's also really starved for some kind of bond and connection. But if he's at all concerned, am I wanting them to give me comfort? Should I not come towards somebody when maybe I'm in a hungry place? No, I mean, the reason we have hunger for anything is because we need to fulfill that hunger in order to live, right? When we're thirsty, we need a drink. Our body is demanding it. When we're hungry for food, we have to go find food. Those are great motives that keep us alive. When we are hungry for some like meaning or companionship or spiritual, you know, connection and bonds, again, I think that that's an indicator that it could be because it's really important. So why would you act like, oh, I shouldn't? Because I feel like I need it, so therefore I should deny myself. To me, I'm like, well, I think that's maybe one of the best reasons to move towards somebody, especially when we can already see there's this huge sense of like reverence. There's a huge sense of, you know, awareness that this is a pretty special person. He's not out here saying, oh, I just want to screw. You know, that's not what this is about. In fact, we haven't had lusty cards here at all. We've had cuddles. We've had good cuddles. But, you know, physical contact, again, is like an emotional bond happens there too. I mean, that's, think of like, you know, they've done plenty of studies on it between like mother and child, and, you know, like the importance of like a baby being held and touched and, you know, feeling the physical contact of a parent. And that's part of the bonding. So I think that this is much less about like, yes, there's a physical component to this, but it's very spiritual what they're seeking. And I think here's the real reason that they're hungry is because they have been in an environment where there's been too much challenge and too much you know, this is my meathead card. And we could call it the meatheads, or we could call it the like the wasp nest. It doesn't matter. I don't mean to make it like gender specific. But it's always mean spirited. And it's like when you got a little gang of a little gang of assholes, okay, that are always razzing, not supportive, just challenging and chipping away in a mean spirited energy. Real friends can razz us and support us at the same time. Like siblings can get under your skin, but they also really love you and care about you. Or well, some do, some do, right? Not all. But this is the ones that don't. There's not love here. There's more challenge. Or let me put it this way. There could be strong bonds, but something's gotten twisted lately, and there's too much edge to it. There's a little too much ego. There's some jealousy involved, and this is the environment they've been in. Well, of course, what they need is this. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? I mean, if you were, let's say you're just in like a career path, and all day long you deal with people that all have like really intense personalities, and there's a lot of like, flexing, and there's a lot of everybody's kind of to outdo each other. Then they don't really work as a team. They work as people who challenge each other. What would you want when you get home? Do you want to go home and you either, have a partner who does the exact same and it's always snarky and it's always mean-spirited? Or do you want somebody who like soothes your soul, and somebody that you can kind of like melt into their arms, and it's like, oh my God, finally I feel supported, I feel held, I feel, like I'm not being constantly challenged on every single thing just for the sake of like, how much can we tear each other apart? I can see why they specifically are hungry right now for companionship and spiritual connection. I feel like this person they got the 1-2 punch. They had several connections in their life that should have been great that turned out to be a shocker. They have 5 of Swords coming out twice. This is a nasty card. They had other past relationships that went sour and turned into something they didn't expect. And they're currently in kind of a dog-eat-dog environment. And this could just be in the workplace, or this could even just be friends who just push the button a little too hard, because, hey, we all have our own stresses. You put even people that like each other a lot, you put them in too close of quarters for too long, and guess what? They're going to start snapping at each other. He needs someplace calm. He needs someplace quiet, and he needs a partner at this point, is what it seems like he wants. Okay, so let's go back over to the person that he wants to connect to. 4 of Cups. Okay, so we've had this person that he wants to connect to, the person he's, energetically standing right outside the window, or right on the other side of the screen. And sometimes I look at this as somebody who's watching another person, on social media, online stuff is, it's so easy, because most people have social media at this point. It's so easy to like peer into somebody's world, not in a creepy way, but just, you're drawn to somebody, you like somebody, you want to see what they're up to. People post funny, cute, humorous things all the time. Not me so much. I can't say that I'm particularly funny or cute, but my dog is adorable sometimes. Dwayne Weathers. Thanks, Angel. Thank you so much. You're always so generous. Thank you, Dwayne. But I feel like if he's watching, if he's paying close attention, he obviously knows something about this person, right? And he thinks highly of this person. Now, I don't know if he knows this or not, but this person's a little bit bored. The 4 of Cups is somebody who's either had their own disappointments and they're just over it. The 4 of Cups can be disappointment, it can be disillusionment, it can be illusions, or it can be boredom. And I always think she sits here like, oh my God, get me out of here. I'm so tired of things that don't end up being much of anything. I'm tired of wasting time. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. And it's interesting to see like this spiritual like person, but you know what? No matter how spiritual you are, it doesn't mean you don't also just get bored. It's like, it doesn't mean that this person is like walking around in a state of bliss all the time. I always think that's really insincere, really inauthentic. Nobody walks around all blissed out all the time, because life is freaking hard. But I would imagine that this person could be 2 things. They could be super spiritual in their own ways, very earthy, maybe very esoteric, and also like a little soul sick at the same time. A little bit bored of things not really happening, which might mean in her own way, she's hungry too for something more real. We got the Hanged Man. This is crazy because it says that what she's bored with is people that continuously delay. Okay. Take the hint. Take the hint. If you want to reach out to her and you keep delaying, this is one of the things she's not too keen on. Also, this is I'm sorry, that sounded really rude, but this is also a card that can talk about martyrdom. And I have a real That's like a pet peeve of mine. I am not into martyrs at all. It bugs the hell out of me. In fact, um, heroes, not martyrs. There's a big difference in my mind. But this is sometimes martyrdom. And maybe for our character here, it's like she or he is in the mode of, I'm tired of things that, you can be all spiritual, but then if it's always like, well, I can't do anything until I've spent 7 years in silence before I can then move forward because of my practices and belief system, she might be like, no, 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 no. You can be spiritual and be active and be doing stuff at the same time. Or, like get busy living life to honor life. Don't sit back and do nothing. It's interesting though, because she's the one sitting back saying, I'm annoyed with people who sit back. So I'm kind of thinking she might be like in a little mode of frustration herself. Like she wants something to come in and shake up her world is what this is starting to look like to me. Ace of Swords, damn Skippy, right? Yes, just speak to me. Wait, hold on. Do you know that he's looking your way? Is that why there's a sense of like frustration? 5 of Pentacles. She feels like this is drifting away, drifting away. It's more like this is never even going to happen. I'm giving up. What's that song? Say something. I'm giving up on you. That's how this comes across. Like come on. How hard is it to tell me what you're thinking instead of, I think that her hope is drifting away or something. 5 of Pentacles is usually a feeling of loss, but in this card, we see the Golden Temple, and now we see these people in this rowboat that are hemorrhaging energy as they're just letting themselves drift away from the goal. Like, why leave the Golden Temple and why hemorrhage all of this cash when the good stuff was back there? All you had to do is do something with it. This is like a metaphor for, letting go of time, the wasted time that we'll never get back by not taking the right actions in our life. Okay, but hang on, let's put her in the fire for just a second and say, I totally understand her frustration, dealing with people that perpetually procrastinate, especially if there's something about love. And this kind of answers my question where I do think she knows that they're out there watching her. We did also have 2 crows here that are the messengers. And so one would be hers and the other would be somebody else's. And this Ace of Swords sits right over the tree of life. So we know that there's some kind of awareness that she knows that he's out there, I think. And she also thinks that time just keeps passing and wasting, and that's squandering life. Okay, but hang on now. I said, we'll put her in the fire for just a second. What are you doing? Like, why don't you reach out to him? The Lovers. That's almost like she's saying, I did. Or, I tried. But what do you do when you pick somebody and they haven't picked you back? 5 of Cups. There is something here. Okay, there's one of 2 things here. Either she's saying, just once I'd like somebody to pick me. Just once. This is something I've never had. She is a rare thing. She is a mermaid. And she's a lonely little mermaid, like the last of her kind. And there is something about like, I don't know why I'm the only person who's never been picked that I know. I am, apparently the undesirable mermaid or something. Like, I don't get it. Can't once in my life just be that I'm the person that somebody moves toward. I think she's half arguing she's put forth some effort because we see the divine, but maybe she's like energetically tried to like open herself up to love. And she's like, but I pick people, but guess what? They don't end up picking me. That's the reality of stuff. I'm the weird, always odd man out in the situation. I'm the last one. Okay. So she's bored with procrastinators, but she's also kind of tired of, there's always like some other choice. Well, everybody always has choice, but she's saying, yes. And when push comes to shove, I'm never somebody's choice. I am at first and then I'm not. Okay. So she's got her own wounds, right? We got the 10 of Wands. So she kind of said, so I'm going to actually make sure that I don't chase anybody and make sure that if they want to pick me, that they would put in the effort. So I've laid down boundaries. I've laid down, any tensions around this. And I would like to allow somebody to approach me. It's kind of like I'm getting this vibe that she said, look, I gave it up to the universe and said, since it hasn't worked, even when I've selected somebody and tried to show them love because they ultimately leave and pick somebody else, maybe it's because I should have let them choose me. Maybe I was too quick to like offer the world to them. Maybe I should have let somebody, like decide that I was the one that they really wanted. And it almost feels like she laid down any pressures around this and said, so that's what I do now. But the thing is, ain't nobody come knocking at my door. Like that's what this is looking like. Nobody's knocking at my door. So what am I to do? And we have her in the Nine of Swords, which if we go back, we got that Nine of Swords here too, right? Now I can see why she's getting a little bit frustrated and a little bit like, Jesus Christ, is there ever going to be a time when somebody just, what do I do? I've tried being the person who really gave a lot and it didn't work out and they picked somebody else. I've tried, being more sensitive. I've tried being more bold. And you know what? It all ends up the same. Here I am still in my bed alone. Okay. So we can see that she's not really sure how she hasn't been doing it right. Now I can see why she's bored. She's bored with, if she keeps meeting people that are too timid, even people that are interested, but they don't have enough interest to come toward her, is her thought. But let's backtrack because it's not actually true. It's not that he doesn't have enough interest to pursue her. The critical point that she's forgotten is that other people have their own history. It's in this case, it is not about he doesn't have enough drive or interest to come toward her. It's that he has, we saw those two nines, the nines that aren't tens. If somebody has an incomplete cycle, it's not go time. The same way you do not want your pilot taking off in an airplane until they've done all the proper checks and, run the engines, and you hear them like, whirling this and that, and you see them checking their flaps and stuff. You want your pilot to do all that before they try to take you into the air. That's basically where he's at. He's on the ground still, and he's going through his checklist. It's not that he doesn't have the capability of flying. It's not that he doesn't know how to fly. It's not that he doesn't have the desire to be up in the sky. It's that I have to do these checks first. And really, we want him to do that. She's over here kind of just because of her own experiences saying, I'm so over the procrastinators. I'm so over people that, spy on me but don't come forward. What's that about? It's just one more proof for me that they're not choosing me. But I think she's wrong and she needs to get out of that. I mean, that's just my thought, because the Nine of Swords is not a good place to sit. So I never want a character sitting there. So I want her out of that. But I think she's looking at this wrong. Five of Pentacles. She keeps saying all this wasted time, all these wasted years, all these, hang on, what's that song? All these wasted. I'll keep holding on. Sorry. That song was in my head all of a sudden. It's the 5 is a number of change. So she definitely needs to change her perception. This is not wasted. It is preserved. Why do we put stuff in a freezer? Why do we want stuff frozen for a later date? She has not missed out on a great opportunity yet. Her best years are not behind her. She is not the unchosen one. She is the saved one for something very special. Anybody who's ever like made some kind of food and they did prep work, you know how precious that is. You put it in your freezer and you did meal prep and you're like, that meal prep is gold. If my power goes out, I am going to take all my precious, out of the freezer, and I'm going to drive it across to another town if I have to go to a family member's house to put it in the deep freezer, because we are saving all of this hard work. This is precious chow that I made and stored in my freezer. She's important. Maybe she hasn't been treated that way, but she has not missed out on opportunities. They have been preserved. They have been put in the freezer. I mean, that's literally what we see on this card. Okay, so she's got to change her mindset, because he's in that any day now going to reach out kind of vibe, and she's kind of a little pissy just a bit. And remember, the thing that he needs most is that softness, the support. If he finally reaches out to her and she's in a bad mood, she might be kind of pissed. And that might be something that comes out, like vinegar on her tongue, which is exactly what he's seeing, like she wouldn't be vinegary. So if that's what he gets from her, it could be reinforce yet another, like, oh my God, I pissed off somebody else. This is not what I expected. What we're seeing here is how delicate it is, how our own minds and experiences and our perceptions make us feel some kind of way. And then when we interact with somebody, we could unwittingly spit some fire at them or some vinegar at them, which is exactly what they were coming to us to avoid. And now instead we reinforce something negative in them. It's just like, this is how people pass like heartbreak and bad vibes to each other, like the common cold is what it looks like to me. So all of this is it's a gentle like support for her to say, darling, don't think of yourself as the one not chosen. Think of yourself as the one that's been preserved for something really, really wonderful. Don't think of it as he doesn't have enough drive or interest to come toward you, so he's just dawdling and messing around. Think of it as he's the airplane pilot doing all the proper checks to make sure that this is going to get off the ground properly, and also understand that he may be kind of trying to release some of his own fears and hurts and such, but it's not a reflection on how valuable you are, even though she's been treated like that before, and you can understand how she'd feel that way. Okay, so are we going to let's wrap this one up. This is long. They always are at night, I swear. So what's the outcome on this? Two of Swords. We already saw him playing chess here with that Two of Swords. So there's something that he's not seeing. Page of Pentacles, hang on. You're not seeing something, you're still saying that there's a blockage, but then with the Page of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, hang on. There's still, I've got this vibe of something coming up that is going to be, I think, kind of quirky. 10 of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups. Okay, so I don't know how to explain this other than, is he going to think that I don't know when to send her a message. I probably shouldn't do this. And then he like accidentally does. Because this is like, look, when you have something that unexpectedly shatters your window like this, you don't ever see that coming, right? I think he's going to feel like a fool. Like, I can't believe this. I accidentally hit send. Oh my God. I wasn't meaning to. I wasn't trying to. I was, tapping out a message or something that then I looked away for a split second, or there was sunlight in my eyes. I was blinded. And then I looked down and it sent. Happy little hello message. It sent. Ah, shit. And he goes into this like, I can't believe that's not what I meant to say. That's not at all what I was supposed to have said. That was not what my plan was. Now I've sent this message. Yeah. And thank God that sometimes fat fingering something, a little slip of our chubby little digits there changes the course of our life. It does seem like it is accidental. It is not what he would have expected to say. It was not what he meant to say, but you know what? It was just right. It might be simple. It might be just a little hello, just a little something. And that starts this entire ball rolling. Finally, we get the 10 of Pentacles. Like, for her to at least have you reach out to her has to happen for her to be able to respond, at least in this storyline. I'm not saying it has to go that way. It just does in this story. That is how these soulmates actually get in touch. And it may be a long time before he admits, like, I wasn't actually going to, I didn't intend to, and my finger slipped. Thank God for, the sunlight in somebody's eyes that makes them tap that button on their phone to send a message. Thank God for the accidental, thing that we didn't expect. It's kind of like a bit of a divine, like, accident, happy accident, but oh God, he feels like he totally messed up. No, he actually opened up the doorway to his future. All this like kind of wondering and fretting and not sure if he should, not sure if it's the right time. And then one day he just does it. And it's like, even though he didn't expect to, that was just the way it needed to go. Sometimes we got to get out of our own way. And the only way to do that is when the universe comes and trips us. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. And then I am going to go ahead right after this, pop right back on and do a storyline for Cancerian, because it is Tuesday, and I try to put those out on Tuesday and on Saturday. Guys, so great to see you. Karami, hi, honey. Great to catch you. Bradley Bear. Oh, that's so awesome. You used to live in the Hidden Valley. That's such a great name. I love it. Hi, Carol. Jessica H., it's my pleasure, honey. Peace and love. Wonderful to see you. Did I see that you were in Arizona? Is that what you said? Yeah, Tucson. Nice. I've always actually wanted to see Tucson. That's one area in Arizona I never did visit. Thanks again, Kit the Kid. Thank you. Shout out to you in Australia. Thanks again, Victoria R. and Calm C. And Nat Summersby. Awesome to see you. Everybody's from Australia tonight. I love it. Well, not everybody, but Australia's being represented. Ferrari 111. Thank you for being here. Neandria Rini. Hi. Hi, Lulu. Victoria Knox. Thanks again, Jessica H. Dalia Chavez. Thank you for being here. Hey, Roxanne. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I bet it was freezing up in Alaska, Roxanne. Well, welcome home, honey, and really great to see you. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you guys for giving it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. Ongoing Awakening. Oh, really? Yeah, I've had this backdrop for a really long time, Ongoing Awakening. You are so sweet. Thank you, Angel. Hi, Sarwat. Good morning to you in England. Dwayne Anderson. Hi. Shout out to you in the beautiful Callaway Gardens in Georgia. Hi, AC. Gabriella. Hi, hun. Felicia. Thank you. Felicia, I'm so honored you're here. Thank you. Thanks again, Dwayne. You guys are so awesome. All right, everybody, have a wonderful evening. Wendy E., I'm sorry, I almost missed you there. If I see you guys in the Cancerian, then awesome. I'll say hi to you there. Otherwise, if this is where we part ways, then sweet dreams or good morning wherever you are. Septipit, hi, honey. Oh, that's awesome. You're painting tarot art. I love it. Very cool. Decoded, hi, hun. Hi, Amanda. Sherry R. in Central Oregon. Shout out to you, my dear. Crystal Jade, right back to you in Australia, honey. Nikki O, glad you made it. Pamela and Tours Kerala, greetings from India. I'm sorry, Pamela, for some reason I was thinking that you were in Portugal. So my apologies. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you so much, Nikki O. Sweet dreams, RS. All right, you guys, take care. I will see you again in a few minutes. Bye.